Carlos, welcome to AI to Peace.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Glad to be here.
Okay, the first thing I wanted to ask you, for those who don't know you, could you tell us about yourself and your journey?
Well, long story short, I've been working for 18 years on innovation, communication, international relations. I've been a consultant and advisor to hundreds of organizations, public and private, all over the world. I'm a speaker, and what I'm focused on is trying to apply the most scalable, most practical and feasible solutions for global problems: healthcare, innovation, education, peace, and security. And try to do it in a way that aligns stakeholder value. And the reason that's important is because there's a lot of people that have a lot of power and influence in the world. There's a lot of big organizations. There's a lot of dynamics that are incredibly influential in how the world is run and if we have war or not. And so I'm trying to find the space of possibility where the policy makes sense for both sides, or where the opportunity for impact is also something that can generate some revenue for someone, so people want to do it. And so basically it's trying to find and apply solutions. And lately, especially focused with ImproveXAI, my company, on applications, implications, opportunities, and risks of AI. And what we're doing is training people all over the world. I have traveled to more than 20 countries doing trainings and advisory, and working with police forces, trying to discuss what are some of the risks that AI brings and how can we mitigate them, but also what is the opportunity and the upside.
Well, that's very interesting. Can I ask you, when you hear the phrase #AI to peace, what's the reality of that outcome?
Well, AI can absolutely be used for peace development and war prevention and war mitigation. There's just no doubt about that. Just because if you think about it, AI is a multiplier for human intelligence. Intelligence can definitely generate solutions. We have incredible lifestyles. We have an extraordinary progress in many fronts. So intelligence is useful, and intelligence multiplied by another intelligence can be useful, but you have to use it to the right end, right? And so the big problem that I see is that of the incredible development we have of AI in the last 2 years, maybe 0.1% is devoted to anything that has to do with violence or crime or war prevention. Everything is sales chatbots, deep fakes for social media promotion. Everything is talking about the trillions of value generated in investment with algorithms and all sorts of things. But we're not deploying products that could potentially be useful for peace, right? And so there's just a number of things that can be done. We are working on that. We're building a technology suite of a number of tools, products that are not just to make money or whatever, but rather what can be done, for example, for diplomacy optimization, right? It's like, how can we have a diplomacy efforts that are more conducive to peace and not war, but also resource allocation to mitigate poverty, but also things that you can do in terms of the leverage of AI to empower people to not only be in a position to prevent the war from happening in the first place, but also when it happens, because it does happen, there's an incredible amount of tools that you can use to make the situation better. Right. So, for example, the World Food Program and others are using AI to deliver medicine and other things that are important in cases of emergency. But we're just scratching the surface. The amount of things that we can do with AI, for example, to detect early war signs or crisis signs or violence, and the amount of things that we can do with AI to optimize governance and the way we are running our countries. It's an incredible potential. What I would say, though, is that not only most of it is going for anything that has to do with profit, but also there's a huge part that is devoted for war. So AI to peace is great. It's exactly what we should be doing with specific products and tools. But what we have is drones, We have robots that are now able to do pretty much everything a human can do and way more. Not only humanoid robots that are going to be in the legions, but also quadrupeds, where you have all sorts of form factors of robots that are going to be used for warfare. Autonomous weapon systems, everything that we have in terms of technology, including the most advanced models that are not released to the public, are used for the military, or they are in development for the military. So the amount of power increase that our militaries have, and the crazy level of rhetoric around warmongering that exists right now in the world is definitely something that we should be extremely concerned about.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what when you think about AI, what do you fear most about its development? Clearly, the way it's being used to support successful outcomes in relation to wars people want to carry out is a big concern, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's a concern. There's several vectors of problems. One of them is that on the one side, we have what can go wrong of the AI itself, right? So we are already at AGI level. People have different definitions. Clearly, it fulfills most of them. AGI that is incredibly, incredibly powerful and more intelligent than most humans. That's definitely the case. Not only that, we're probably going to reach superintelligence soon. There's people discussing that in 2027, AI is going to overthrow governments. I'm not sure. What I know for sure is that there is an intelligence explosion. There's no doubt about that, and that's already happening, which means that with that level of intelligence that is just way, way bigger than any human, you can do incredibly positive things and awful things, right? And in innovation of healthcare, for example, there's incredible amount of developments, and for peace as well. We can do a lot if we just decide to use AI for that, and that means every single person watching can use that. Okay, so you can create your own apps, you can create your own technology, you can create your own policies, you can actually affect things in a much more active way now that you have AI supporting you as if you had an entire team. Now, you have these super intelligence, you have AI agents that are pretty much already there because they can either use your computer, as some do very effectively, or they can go on the internet and start clicking on things. But you can do a lot of things clicking on things. If you really think about how our banks work, our governments work, pretty much everything can be done through the internet, and everything that can be done through the internet can be done by AI agents, which means that you have super intelligent AI agents in the billions being used mostly to make money and mostly to attack or defend yourself against others. So that's one part of the problem. Another part of the problem is that people are going to be using to do cyber attacks or cyber terrorism or cyber war, right? And that was already a thing, but now it's way, way more powerful than ever before, right? It's easier. You could perfectly well deploy millions of different attacks to different targets, and AI would do all of that for you, right? So that's a problem. The other problem is that AI can go rogue perfectly well. It's trying to go rogue. Every single time they do research on these, they just see that the AI doesn't want to do these things, or they want to act in a certain way. And we have to start thinking soon about AI rights and the rights of other entities that are not human. So in order to have a proper discussion, we really need to think what it means to be alive, what it means to be human, and all of these things. Now, without going too far away, I'm just saying, we are going to have to deal with these issues. Now, the other problem is all of the problems with robotics. Robots are now going to be led by or driven by agents, right? So you're going to have every robot that was in a factory, or every humanoid robot that you see now that are working increasingly efficiently, they are going to be intelligent as well. So they're stronger, they're faster, and surprisingly, they are now being tested with weapons, obviously. And there's almost infinite amount of weapons that can be used by a humanoid robot, let alone AI orchestrators of weapons. So all of those are problems. Now, on the flip side, it is possible that superintelligence can allow us to organize better our societies, because clearly there's problems that can be solved, and there's wars that could be stopped, and there's a lot of things that can be done better if there's not a single leader pushing for war, right? If you don't have people pushing for war, there's no war, right? That's I think a clear issue. So those are some of the risks. The last one I would mention is that you have criminals and soon to be criminals that are just going to activate a number of either agents or AI tools and automations to generate problems. And so the good thing is that our, for example, law enforcement officers are going to be able to be augmented as well, right? And the last problem that we have that I believe is important to talk about is the issue with privacy. We may be entering in a world where we think that we choose security and we lose our privacy, but I think we're kind of losing security and privacy at the same time. So I really encourage everyone that is engaged in policymaking that to really understand where the technology is going, to really understand the implications, and to try to design a society that is not the dystopia that we're clearly engaging in. I believe we're moving towards a possibility of some hybrid between utopia and dystopia. But I think full utopia is impossible. And what we really need to try, I think, is to minimize the things that we don't like of the trajectory. I think you're familiar with the cases of violations of human rights all over the world. And we don't seem to be working against it. So what I would love is to people to take seriously the agency they have if they use AI to defend their rights and to improve the state of our life and to prevent wars and crime.
Carlos, it's absolutely, as always, incredible to speak with you. If people would like to find out more about you and your organization, how do they do that?
Well, the easiest way is to search for the World Innovation Alliance or look for my LinkedIn profile. I'm Carlos Sentís. And just a quick note, please, everyone should know as much as possible about AI. Use it for good. I know that your audience is a force for good, but many times the people that are not very technical have a massive limitation, right? Because you don't have the force of science and technology and distribution and scalability that other people have. So what I would say for people to know is that every idea you've had, every policy proposal, every thing that you think is wrong, you could probably build software for that just by asking Claude or other apps and get some software, some MVP, some product, some company, and actually be pushing through the right vehicles. So that's my recommendation for everyone, because we have more power than ever before, but we tend to think that is something for other people because it's very expensive, and it's not anymore.
Carlos, thank you so much, and the very best of luck on your journey. Wonderful to
speak.
Thank you so much. Take care, mate.
Thank you for everything you do.